A number of you have reached out over the past week and a half or so with some burning questions about our demographic future. And I'm trying to parse through these to give you a sense of what's probably most important to least important and how it will impact our macro situation as well as our day to day lives. Because our demographics are changing rapidly and they are upending just about every part of our lives. And there is perhaps no single greater issue right now than immigration in the United States. It's a subject fraught with political turmoil, polarizing at every turn. So, what I wanted to do today in this first response video for Population Next is analyze a very simple question. What if we don't have immigrants to this country, the United States? What happens if immigrants don't continue to pour into Europe? And what happens when global migration grinds to a halt? Now, this is a very big question with some very complex answers. So I'll try to keep it simple in this first one. And hopefully, as we go forward, we can dig deeper into some more of your specific questions about what this means for us right here, right now, and of course, into tomorrow and the future. Let's start with the very basics here. The United States has, for a number of years, as well as its partners in Europe, seen a pretty sizable increase in the number of immigrants entering the country or countries from across the world, from Asia, from Latin America, from the African continent, and from the Indian subcontinent. These populations have effectively flooded in. And at least here in the United States, we haven't seen this level of immigration since the Gilded Age over 100 years ago. In fact, today, immigrants make up about 1/15 of the population, 15% of the population, and that's a pretty sizable number. And in fact, when you pull back things a bit more, you can find that the number of immigrants or immigrant children actually make up about a quarter of the total US population. That's changed really quickly. So that's caused some people to get, you know, off guard about the nature of things. It's felt like the country is changing perhaps a bit too much. But without immigrants, without these people coming into this country to contribute, for the most part, as social and economic actors, we'll start to see some changes in the composition of the country, but also the country's fortunes in the coming years. You see, immigrants totaled about 84% of all growth in the United States in the year 2023 to 2024. 84%. And the reason for this is quite simple. We are not having enough babies, those people who are native born within the United States, to sustain the population, much less grow it. So immigrants coming in helps a country like the United States continue to grow. Immigrants also tend to fuel economic growth as well, not just people growth. They fill jobs, they create jobs and businesses, they create and contribute to the cultural tapestry of the country. But more importantly, they keep that engine of the economy going because without more people, without more growth, the models on which our economy are fundamentally built on start to shift because without people, we don't necessarily have prosperity, at least in the way we've defined it, which is purely economic. Now, what can we expect in the coming years? The government has made a pretty harsh crackdown on immigration. The Washington Post earlier this year has suggested that we might actually see the first negative immigration period in the United States in at least 50 years, and that's astonishing considering the number of people that have come in over the past decade or so. And with that hard pull on the brakes, with these realities that the native born population isn't having enough children, and the immigrant population accounts for so many of those newborns and new people, we will start to see the United States, which was on a trajectory of growth for the coming years, at least in terms of its total population, start to plateau a lot faster and likely go into reverse, meaning that our population, which is pretty sizable now, at about 340 million people, will start to go in reverse in the coming years. And that's never happened here in the United States. Other countries around the world, of course, are dealing with this and have been dealing with this for years, if not decades. China loses about 2 to 5 million people per year. Japan has been hemorrhaging population since 2014. Italy losing population as well. And this might just be the norm that we have to become accustomed to. But we are going to speed it up when we pull back from immigration. And the down market effects will likely be sharp. Fewer people in the labor force means more competition for labor. More competition for labor means higher salaries for people doing the jobs. And that's everything from field hands to factory workers to C-suite executives. All of those salaries will likely go up as a result. But that also means the cost of goods will go up as well. So if we're tightening down on immigration today, the short answer is that we will have some economic pinch in the coming years, and that includes a pretty significant inflationary period, if not mitigated. So appreciate your questions. Keep them coming in. As always, tune in, like, subscribe, comment whenever you can on these videos, on the content produced at Population Next, and share this. Share this with your friends, with your family, and anyone you know who wants to be part of our demographic future.